All right, let's get started. Good morning, everyone. I know some of you joined as presenters. I'm sorry for the confusion, but please keep your mic and camera muted so we can have the process smoothly. We still have folks joining on, but we'll get started now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first Wharton Global High School Investment Competition webinar for teachers and advisors. We're very excited to meet everyone here today. Our goal is to provide you with information about the competition and answer your pressing questions. But first of all, we want to hear from you where you're currently located. So if you could put in a chat channel, the city and country where you're currently located, that would be wonderful. Wow. It looks like we have a very global audience here. Thank you again for taking the time. I know you're all in different time zones. Thank you for joining us, either in your morning or in your evening. All right. So my name is Effie Joe. I am the Instructional Content Manager at the Wharton Global Youth Program team, and I will be your host today. So let me first share my screen. All right. Hopefully everyone can see my screen okay. Okay, let's get started. So here is the agenda for today's webinar. We'll first talk about who we are as the organizer for this competition. Next, we're going to share some competition background and highlights. Following that is a more detailed introduction to this year's competition. Finally, we'll showcase some resources for educators and students. We'll save all the questions at the end. First, I would like to introduce you to Eli Lesser, Executive Director of Wharton Global Youth Program. He will introduce our organization and other program opportunities that we offer beyond this competition. Eli?
Thank you, Effie. Good morning, everyone. As Effie said, my name is Eli Lesser. I'm the Executive Director of the Wharton Global Youth Program, and I am so excited that you're joining us this morning or this evening, depending on where you are around the world. Looking through the chat stream, it's pretty remarkable to see that we really are the Wharton Global Youth Program. I want to take a second to restate what Effie stated so nicely in the beginning. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for taking the time on behalf of your students and your schools for joining us this morning to learn about this remarkable opportunity. In this very uncertain times around the world, I just want to take a second to again thank you and tell you that you really are the frontline heroes making the change in our world. And we know a program like this and all of the great teaching you do really does make a difference. And it's important to us to thank our teachers at all times. So thank you for joining us, teachers. With that, I want to say that it's important for you to know the Wharton Global Youth Program is here to support your work as educators. Our work and our division at the Wharton School is to bring the great ideas, research, and resources of the Wharton School, the world's leading business school, directly to you and your classroom and your students. We offer programming throughout the year for both students and teachers. Visiting our website at Wharton Global Youth, you'll see that we just wrapped up a pretty remarkable summer working with over 1,700 high school kids around the world in fully online programs over an 11-week period. It was really great to work directly with students, whether they were in 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grades, hearing from them, building their business skills, getting their ideas about the future of the business world, and so many other thoughts. We also are the publishers of the Knowledge of Wharton High School online business journal, which publishes 3 to 5 new business articles every month directly for the teenage audience that we hope you'll use directly in your classroom. The Knowledge of Wharton High School website is also the location of our video glossary and other short podcasts that you can use in your teaching and are woven throughout our lessons that Effie will share with you today. Also on the website, you'll find more resources for educators, individual lesson plans, activities, essay prompts that you can use in your classroom, whether you're teaching business, social studies, math, or any subject that you're teaching the students today. Finally, we come to the program that you're part of, our academic year programs, the Wharton Global High School Investment Competition. Before we jump into that in 1 second, I want to give a quick pitch for a brand new online course we'll be launching in the coming weeks called Understanding Your Money that's available directly for your students. Please keep an eye on your email inbox for the announcement of this online course. We hope that you'll pass that on to your students and the families you work with. But now, on to the main event, the Wharton Global High School Investment Competition. We're so excited to launch the competition this year and see your teams compete around the world. Let me hand it back over to Effie to tell you more information. Thank you again and welcome.
Thank you, Eli. Next, I would like to share some general competition information and highlights from our previous years. So what is Wharton Global High School Investment Competition? It's a free online invest simulation. Students work in teams of 4 to 7 and are guided by a teacher or other skilled advisor. We hope they can use this opportunity to learn about investing and other valuable skills such as teamwork and leadership. We started small in 2012, with only 5 schools in Philadelphia participating in a pilot competition. More students from multiple states and countries joined over the years. Today, we successfully expand to 4 regions with 31 countries, 500 plus schools, 900 plus teachers, advisors, and more than 10,000 students represented. The numbers don't just stop there. With the impact of each one of you, we are confident we're going to reach more students around the world with this learning opportunity. The competition is open to all high school students, whether they're in public or private school, whether they have experience with investing or not. Every team must have a teacher advisor. The focus of this competition is learning about investing. It is an investment competition, but the ultimate goal is not to encourage making the most of money through endless trading. Rather, an opportunity to educate students on important money management mindset and skills. To help participants prepare, we provide an array of free learning resources for both educators and students. Students compete in a team of 4 to 7. Each team must invest in at least as many sectors as it has team members. For example, if a team has 5 members, at least 5 sectors must be represented, with at least 1 stock in each sector. We present a client case study for students to analyze and develop a strategy for. Our client this year is Florian Hagenbach, a Wharton alum and established entrepreneur. You can access the full case study on our competition website. The teams manage a portfolio of $100,000 in virtual cash on Wharton's investment simulator. In short, we call WINS. They select stocks to trade from an approved stock list. This list has some 500 stocks from both domestic, which means US-based, and international stock exchanges. Please note stocks are the only allowed security types in this competition. The competition has 2 deliverables: the project team review and final team strategy report, which we'll discuss in detail later. The competition winners are selected based on the strength and articulation of team's investment strategy that they develop for the client, not portfolio growth. Selected teams first advance to virtual regional finals, and the regional winners will then compete in the live global finale at Wharton in Philadelphia. So what will students learn from this competition? Besides learning about basic investing concepts and analytical tools, students are going to learn so much more. It is a team effort through ups and downs to achieve their investing goals, They learn to communicate effectively and resolve conflicts. To develop a sound strategy, they practice thinking critically and creatively. In the end, they write together, but for a very different audience, they might not have any experience writing before. The competition ventures students into a new learning journey, challenging them to achieve so much more. So next, I'm going to talk about this year's competition and some changes that it has implemented. So first of all, registration. Every team now needs a teacher advisor, and teacher advisors must register teams, meaning students are not permitted to register. It is also a team registration. You do not need to register each individual team member. Teams will provide their team member information with a mid-project team review submission in November. Teachers can register more than one team, either for full classes or different class periods. All communications are sent to teachers' advisors. You can then share with your teams. Next, the trading platform. Wharton Global Youth Program has contracted with StockTrack, the leading provider of web-based stock market simulations for universities, high schools, and the financial services industry, to provide wins. It allows students to apply the concepts of investments and portfolio management in a hands-on learning environment, while working with the real-world data without risking real money. This year, a trading note briefly explaining the purpose of the trade and how it fits in the overall investment strategy must be included with each trade made on wins. Students will be prompted to add a trading note before the trade can be executed. This is what the platform looks like. When participants first log in, they can go to the Getting Started section on the right to check out the user guide. Here are some important dates. We will send out email reminders when deliverables are due. Reminders will also be posted on wins. The teacher advisor is the main point of contact throughout the competition. Therefore, all communication will go to teachers and advisors. Next, I would like to discuss the main roles our teachers advisors play in this competition. Again, you will be the main point of contact for teams, meaning all communication will go to you. Besides providing educational guidance and sharing knowledge, more importantly, we see you as our number one motivator throughout the competition. In the past, we see some teams stop their learning journey in the middle of the competition if they have no teachers or advisors there to provide help and support. Even a few cheering words here and there makes a huge difference. Please do remember you're not doing this alone. We'll be supporting you with resources and check-ins throughout the competition. Lastly, I want to mention that advisors are held to high ethical standards. Please don't trade or write the team policy on behalf of your teams. This is also a free competition and students don't need to pay to participate. Teams with any sort of paid advisors will be disqualified. There are two competition deliverables. First, mid-project team review, which is a document that provides a brief overview of what teams have done so far. Second, final competition report is a full report of the team's investment strategy. The teams won't receive individual feedback from us. In our teacher guide, which we will discuss later, as a part of the educator resources, we provide some guidance to empower all of you to provide constructive feedback to your students. Teams must submit both to receive a participation certificate and be considered for the finals. Wins, our trading platform, will be shut off for teams that do not submit their mid-project team review. Both deliverables must be in English and submitted using the required submission platform. I'm very excited about this part. So next, we're going to showcase our collection of resources for both teachers advisors, and students. All resources are free. You can find all this on the resource page on our competition website, which will be available soon. We will email everyone as well and post on our social media when you can access them. So to begin with, we designed a curriculum for teachers and advisors who are guiding student teams through the Wharton Global High School Investment Competition. There is an educator's guide or teacher's guide to use the curriculum. The curriculum has 15 lesson plans categorized in 4 learning units. It starts with competition basics, helping teachers to incorporate this competition into their classrooms. The Introduction to Investing unit discusses various basic investing concepts with a specific focus on stocks. Again, that is the only investment type allowed in these competition portfolios. Research and Analysis unit explores analytical theories and tools to help competitors make informed investment decisions. The last unit discusses skills pertaining to this competition, such as analyzing a client case study and developing a strategy. The curriculum is designed to equip students with enough knowledge and skills to stay engaged with the competition and learn from the experience. But please note, you are not required to use any part of this curriculum while competing. The competition engages all levels of learners, from students who are totally new to these concepts to others who have more advanced knowledge. You should consider using this curriculum in a way that best fits your student needs. Possibly, you will instead select a sampling of lessons that support your classroom resources and introduce new concepts at an appropriate level for your students. We also have resources for students. Here's how you can find them on our website when they're available. The student resources feature quick explanation of basic investing concepts, youth voices sharing their investing experience, suggestions from investing experts, and helpful analytical tools. We will continue to support you and your students with more resources throughout the competition. COVID-19 has brought many challenges and changes for all of us. We recognize this is a truly difficult time for both you and your students to achieve your learning goals. You have probably shifted your fall semester plans 20 times already. AB class, 100% virtual, hybrid, going back and forth even. However, I believe our goals are aligned. We hope students benefit from this excellent online learning opportunity. With all the resources accessible remotely, it is designed for online student engagement and includes built-in features like the trading notes in WINS to support student decision-making. We also develop a new Meet the Experts series. We'll bring live webinar guests, such as Wharton professors, field experts, former winners, to students and educators in an informative format with Q&A. And that's all from me today. I want to thank you all again for attending and joining us on this journey to educate our youth. I'm sure you have tons of questions, and we are eager to hear from you. Before we move on to Q&A, I would like you all to meet my colleagues, Kara Dunn and Sarah Sweeney. Kara oversees the investment competition, and Sarah is our operations assistant who works with Kara. They will be your main point of contact throughout the competition, and they will be answering your questions today. Kara and Sarah.
Thank you, Effie, for the introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Kara Dunn, and I am the Associate Director of Marketing for the Wharton Global Youth Program.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sweeney, and I am the Operations Assistant at the Wharton Global Youth Program.
Sarah and I are very excited for this year's competition. It's really incredible to see so many of you wanting to learn more about the competition. The enthusiasm we have seen from both students and advisors is really remarkable. We hope that continues for the duration of the competition. Chances are, if you've already reached out with a question, you received a response from Sarah or myself. So on that note, we have a lot of questions in the queue, so let's get started. So I see that there's a couple of questions regarding resources. Our lesson plans, as well as the student resources, have not been published yet, but fear not, they should be published within the next day or so. I know you're very anxious to see them, and we're doing our best to get them up as quickly as possible. So please stay tuned. We'll be sure to put an announcement up once they have published. And we'll be happy to also send out an email to everyone that has registered for the webinar, informing you when those resources go live.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other questions being asked. Let's see, here's a question from Rahul. He says, when do the students get access to the platform? So if you've already registered your teams, you have access to the platform right now. Currently, trading is closed, so there's nothing that you or the students can do on the platform, but they can go into WINS, our trading platform, and take a look around. We have a user guide there that explains how to use WINS as well as other resources if you would like to look at those before the competition begins. Trading will begin on September 28th, and that's when students will be able to start making their first trades on WINS. If you haven't registered for the competition yet, we will be addressing how to register, but you can go to our website, globalyouth.wharton.edu, and there will be a link to visit the investment competition page and then to register for the competition. And that's how you can get access to the platform if you haven't registered your teams yet.
Okay, can we short stocks? The answer to that is no. I strongly encourage everybody to take a look at the FAQs that we have outlined on the competition website, as these kinds of questions are answered there in detail. But the short answer is no shorting stocks for this competition.
We also have a lot of people asking if the slide deck or a recording of this webinar will be available. Yes, we're doing this webinar twice today, and we will have a recording of one of the webinars up on our website in the next few days. Not immediately after this webinar, but we promise that we will post a recording of this webinar soon so that you can rewatch it if you would like to.
Okay, so Diana from New Jersey has asked, can students that attend different schools in different countries participate on the same team? Diana, that's an excellent question, because that is a question Sarah and I have seen quite a bit in our inbox from potential participants. The answer to that question is no. We do permit teams to be comprised of students from different schools. That's absolutely acceptable, but the schools all must be located in the same country. And now some of you that have competed in the past have mentioned that the rule was as long as they competed in the same region. But this year we changed that rule, and the answer is no. You have to be located in this, your schools must be located in the same country.
We have a question on, is it compulsory to trade on the first day that trading is open, September 28th? It is not compulsory, but we do recommend that students get started trading as soon as possible. We sometimes receive questions about teams that haven't begun trading for several weeks, and the competition is only 10 weeks long. So we highly suggest that the students begin trading early on, although they don't have to begin trading the very day that trading opens.
A great question from Amit. Can we get an example from previous years to get an idea for the concepts included in the investment strategy? So on the competition website, under the competition deliverables, we do provide some instructions for helping you develop your investment strategy. Another place that you can look for more information about this is through the lesson plans that we've developed. We've included some information there that will help your teams. But overall, our rule of thumb is that we don't like to share examples from previous years. We want students to come up with their own unique strategy. But if you have any specific questions, we encourage you to reach out to us, and we will do our absolute best to answer those questions for you.
Here's a question from Charlotte. The advisor has received their usernames and passwords for their teams. So does the advisor need to register their team individually or just allocate those usernames and passwords? Please do not register each of your students individually. Just allocate the usernames and passwords to the team. So the advisor is the main point of contact this year. So they will be the one who receives the username and password for all their teams when they register, and they can distribute those to the team leaders or every member of the team to actually do the trading on the platform. But again, if you have 2 teams of 5 students, please do not register 10 times. Please do not register 10 teams. Just register 2 teams, and then you can allocate the information to those teams.
Great question from Bejoy. Can students contact you both if they have any questions later? Of course, please reach out to us with any questions that you have throughout the competition. You'll also find that on the trading platform, WINS, there's a contact us function there as well. In case your students have any technical questions about the platform or about trading. For example, I purchased the stock at this price, but it cleared for this price. If you run into those kinds of issues, please reach out directly to StockTrack, as they'll be able to resolve those questions for you. So there's a contact us function on StockTrack, but there will also be a live chat function that will be available to students between the hours of 9 and 5 Eastern, that you'll be able to reach out to StockTrack. But if you have any questions about the competition, please send them our way, and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Here's a question. Can we register more than 1 team from the same school? Yes, absolutely. You can register more than 1 team from the same school. Advisors are allowed to work with multiple teams, and in fact, we encourage it. As many teams as you can find students who are interested, and as many as you feel that you're able to handle. We also welcome you to have other teachers join you as unofficial advisors if you would like their support. The competition information will still be sent directly to you as the official advisor, but if you would like to involve other teachers at your school, you're welcome to do that as well.
Okay, you said we should start placing trades somewhat early. Are we expected to buy and sell often in this competition? How much does my team's portfolio value matter? That's a great question. No, this competition isn't about buying and selling lots of stocks. Remember, you're trying to develop a long-term investment strategy. While there is a short-term investment goal for the client, you should ultimately be thinking about the long-term, which means holding on to your stocks for a longer period of time. In regards to how much does your team portfolio value matter? Not much. This competition isn't about how much money you make the client. It's about developing a sound investment long-term strategy for the client.
Here's a question from Angelo in the chat. Can investments be made in any shares or a selected basket of shares? So we only allow teams to trade individual stocks from our approved stock list, which will be finalized soon, and we will post it on our website when it's ready. It will be available before trading opens. We do not allow students to trade other securities. We only allow them to trade stocks from the approved stock list. Someone asked, can we trade bonds? No, students are not allowed to trade bonds. And someone asked if there will be international stocks available. Yes, there will be international stocks available on the approved stock list. We try to have a variety of stocks available for students depending on how they see fit. And in addition, our case study this year, Florian Hagenbach, is very international. He was educated all over the world, and we encourage students to invest internationally.
Will the participants need to invest during U.S. time zone? WINS executes all U.S. stocks at real-time prices, but please note that although trades are executed at real-time prices and that and the bid and ask prices are real time. The prices you see in your open positions are delayed by 10 to 15 minutes. And following up on that, international equities not based in the US experience a longer time delay. These equity orders will go through at the end of the trading day. If a trade is placed for an international equity at 4 p.m. on Monday, it will clear at the end of Tuesday. Also, exchange rate calculations are done automatically when making trades on foreign markets. There is no extra work on your part, though it is good to be aware of potential gains, losses you may experience due to exchange rates. You do not need to exchange money in a different currency. It'll be done automatically for you.
We have several people asking how much help is the advisor allowed to give the students. So the students should be driving the strategy. They should be coming up with their own investment strategy. They should be the ones placing the trades on wins. However, we encourage advisors to teach their students about investing, and we will have lesson plans available on our website. The advisor is there to act as a guide, and again, we encourage teachers to incorporate the investment competition into their curriculum. So it's a great way to teach students about business, but the students should be designing their own investment strategies and placing the trades themselves, as well as writing the mid-project team reports and the final report themselves.
Great question from Amanda. Can only school teachers be advisors for the competition? Due to COVID-19, some of my students are spread out, so they want to participate with their friends with an adult supervisor they have back at home. Amanda, that's a great question and a question we've gotten a lot. So I'm happy that you asked that. We strongly encourage the advisor to be a teacher. This is for a number of reasons, but most importantly, we hope to develop a long-term relationship with the school so that we can have teams competing year after year after year. So we do strongly encourage that the teacher serve as the advisor, and we absolutely welcome the parents to act as a secondary supervisor in the competition. However, we recognize that we need to be flexible. So if there is a request to be an advisor, but you're not a teacher or an educator, you can reach out to us, and we will review the situation and get back to you as to whether or not that it'll be permitted.
Here's a great question. Are we judged on the profits our stocks make or the strategy we use in buying our stocks? So teams are judged on the strategy. The Wharton Global High School Investment Competition is different from other investment competitions because we do not factor in the profit or the return that students make on their investments. So this isn't just a numbers game about trying to make the most money at the end of the 10 weeks of trading. It's actually about trying to have a cohesive strategy that works for the client, who this year is Florian Hagenbach. So students shouldn't be necessarily day trading in an attempt to make lots of money. They should be thinking about what works long-term for their client.
Is every member of the team expected to trade, or the team elects a trader to trade on behalf of the team? Great question. And we really encourage the team to make this decision on their own. You're more than welcome to establish roles throughout the competition. In fact, we've outlined that on our competition website. It's completely up to the team as to whether or not you assign a team leader or other roles as you see fit.
We have another great question. Will there be criteria or examples of how to create the mid and final reports? So as we discussed earlier, we do not post past examples of winners, of the final reports of winners or finalist teams. We want students to be creative. So we want them to come up with their own investment strategy. So we will have some basic instructions about the format and the requirements that the mid-project team report and the final report should meet. But other than that, we really encourage creativity and innovation, so students don't need to stick to a particular formula. And we will be sending more information about those out to our advisors as those deadlines approach.
How are the regions allocated? Which are the regions? How many are there? So the regions are allocated geographically. We'll be letting everybody know what the regions are after the competition gets underway. The regions don't really factor into the investment competition until the very end, until you submit the final reports. So don't worry about it too much at this point, but we'll be sure to update you as soon as we finalize the regions.
We have some questions about where can you find the case study and should trading be based on the case study? So there's only one case study. We have a different case study each year. It's a Wharton alumnus. This year, as I've mentioned, it's Florian Hagenbach. You can find the case study on the investment competition website on the sidebar on the left with all of our resources. And yes, students will tailor their investing towards Florian's goals and information about him personally. The goal is to simulate that they're trying to win his business and convince him that they are the best people to manage his money for him.
So if we have 5 members from the US and 1 member from Canada, would that be okay? Again, as long as the schools are all located in the same country, it's okay. But if the student attends a school in Canada, no, they cannot participate on the same team as the US students.
Here's a question. Can teachers hold their own finals if they have several teams competing in the same classroom? And I also saw a question earlier about whether students could present and give updates during the duration of the competition. So we strongly encourage teachers to have competitions between their teams or to have teams present to each other. As you may know, this is a large international competition, and unfortunately not every team will get the chance to advance to the regional finals or the global finale. So we really encourage teachers to have their own competitions at their schools or locally so that students can show off the work they've been doing and the knowledge they've learned during the course of the competition, even if they are not selected to be a regional finalist. Make it fun for your students. Have lots of different activities as you see fit. We really love that, and we always love hearing about the creative things that teachers come up with to showcase what their students have learned.
How much money will each team receive to invest? So each team will have $100,000 in cash to invest for their client, Florian.
Let's see, more questions in the chat. We have several more people asking if the recording will be available. Yes, in case you missed it, in case you joined late, the recording will be available on our website, not immediately after the webinar has concluded, but as soon as we can get it up, we will have it for you if you'd like to review the questions we've gone over today and the slides.
So a number of folks have asked whether or not they'll be able to receive any feedback when they submit their mid-project team review. The answer is we don't provide individual feedback for teams, but we will provide overall feedback for all the teams to consider as they move towards developing their final report.
Let's see, we have some people asking if the trading website is open all of the time. Yes, the trading website is always available to students, but as Kara said, depending on whether the markets are open and whether you're trading US or international stocks, the trades may not go through at the same time. We also had some questions about whether students can day trade. We generally discourage students from day trading because the point of the competition is to have a long-term investment strategy for the case study, Florian. And also we do have a $25 commission on trades to simulate commissions in the real world as well. So students may wish to factor that in when they're deciding how often to trade.
So as I'm going through all the questions that are coming in, I just want to reiterate a lot of these questions have been answered in our FAQs that we've outlined on our competition website. So please make sure you're referring to that, and please make sure you're taking a look at all the information on the competition website, because you'll find that it is very helpful when navigating through the investment competition.
We have a question. Can international students who study at the same school be on a team? Yes. As we've mentioned, it doesn't matter where in the world physically the students are located. We're aware that there's many students this year who are living in one country but are attending a school located in another country. So the rules for the competition are based on where the student attends school. So where the school they attend is actually located. So you could be a student living in China, but remotely attending a school based in the US. That student would need to be on a team with other students attending schools based in the US.
I made a mistake and tried to register each student instead of a team. Should I delete teams on wins that are irrelevant? Don't touch anything. Just reach out to us. Let us know what error you had made, and we'll take care of it on our end. We'll also be doing an extensive list cleanup, so we make sure that we have the right amount of teams participating in the investment competition. But if at any point during the registration process you make an error, please reach out to us before going in and registering again.
We have some questions about what to do if a team member backs out of the competition. We've also had some questions in our email inbox asking similar questions. So you don't need to submit the names of the students when you register your team, and there's no place to input their names on the trading platform Wins either. The way that we will find out the rosters for each team is that the roster will be finalized and submitted with the mid-project team review. So that's where you'll include the names of all the students on the team. You're welcome to have changes to the member roster before then if students decide they don't have time for the competition or if they want to join. But again, they have to maintain a minimum of 4 members and a maximum of 7 for the duration of the competition.
What kind of strategies are good? Well, there's no wrong or right way to approach how you develop your strategy, but we strongly encourage you to think creatively when developing your investment strategy, because that's what really sticks out to the judges. And can this be used as an extracurricular activity or only in class? It absolutely can be an extracurricular activity. And we understand that not every student will be doing this in their classroom, but we have developed a number of resources to help run the investment competition, no matter where you're doing it from. When will the stock list be released? Very soon, I promise. We hope to have that by the end of this week.
Here's a great question for you, Kara. I heard something about a Meet the Expert series during the presentation. What is that?
Great question. We'll be doing weekly Meet the Expert webinars with different professionals as well as faculty to talk about various financial topics, but also other business topics that are related to the investment competition. We have a number of our guest speakers already aligned, and we'll be publishing more information about that hopefully in the next week.
We have several different people asking how to get in touch with us with specific questions or after the webinar. So you can email us at wghs-invdomp@wharton.upenn.edu. And we will put that in the chat. It's also available on the investment competition website.
There's a couple of questions about homeschooled children and whether homeschool parents are allowed to serve as an advisor. Yes, absolutely, if students are homeschooled, they can form a team with other homeschool students, or they can join other teams as available. We're a little bit flexible on how to handle the whole homeschool situation because we understand that they probably only have one student. So if you have any further questions about that, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll help further clarify.
Next question is, I registered for 7 students, but only received 1 student username and password. Is this supposed to happen, or should each student have their own? No, that was exactly correct. No matter whether there's 4, 5, 6, or 7 members on a team, the team will only receive 1 username and password for wins to share among themselves. That username and password will be provided to the advisor, whose job it is to then pass that information along to the team. The advisor and the team can decide whether they want to have one designated team leader who does all the trading, or whether they would like to allow each student to go in and trade as they see fit, always consulting their team members, of course, before they make trades. But yes, there's only 1 login per team. Please do not register 7 teams or register 7 times if you have 7 students competing on one team.
After registration, can the number of members be reduced if one member wants to quit? Absolutely. We understand that things will change for the first few weeks of the investment competition, but please make sure that you're adhering to the 4 to 7 rule. You must maintain a minimum of 4 team members and no more than 7. This is also a good opportunity to make sure we mentioned, please refer to the trading rules or the team rules, because one thing that you need to keep in mind is that you need to invest in as many sectors as you have team members. So if you have 4 team members, you need to invest in 4 different sectors. And this will be you'll be required to illustrate this in your final report.
We have someone saying that they have not received a username or password. Are these still pending? If you believe that you've registered, please get in touch with us via email. Our email address is in the chat. It's also available on our website. Please don't register multiple times if it seems like your registration has not gone through. Just get in touch with us and we can help you out.
How many teams will go to the regionals and then to the global finals? Typically, for the regional finals, we select 10 to 12 teams. Then the top 2 to 3 teams from each region will move on to the global finale. This year, all of our regional finales will be conducted virtually. We do hope to be able to offer the global finale in person, but as we know, every day is different. But we do hope to be able to welcome the global finalists here on campus in Philadelphia in May.
Maggie asks, is this like simulating an asset manager's role? So yes, we have background in the case study on our website, but students are trying to win over the business of our potential client, Florian, who is also called our case study. So students propose a strategy and to try to win his money. So yes, it is like being an asset manager. The students need to tailor their investment strategy towards Florian's interests.
Is the midterm report, will the midterm report be weighted for final scores? If yes, then how much? No, we don't weight your mid-project team reviews. They're more of a checking in point for us, one, to ensure that people are still active in the competition, but also to make sure that you're moving in the right direction throughout the competition. But in order to be considered as competing in the competition, you will need to submit your mid-project team review as well as the final report. and teams that submit both deliverables will receive participation certificates from Wharton Global Youth Program.
Michelle asks, what is the process of involving unofficial advisors like? So that's really up to you, Michelle, with a few restrictions. If someone on your team or you know someone who's very knowledgeable about investing, you can ask them. It might be a professional, it might be a teacher. You can ask them to help your team out in whatever ways you wish. Again, remembering that students should be the ones to come up with the investment strategy and do the trading themselves. But you're welcome to bring in outside people to help students learn about investing. However, there's one caveat, which is we absolutely do not allow paid advisors in this competition. Every advisor, official or unofficial, involved with the team must be purely volunteer. No one is allowed to charge students for advice or to charge them to participate in the competition, as this is a free competition. And we will disqualify teams if we find out that they are using paid advisors in any capacity.
So I want to use this opportunity to also mention that if you have any specific questions about using the WINS platform, there's a lot of helpful resources located directly on the platform. We've put together a detailed user guide that gives step-by-step instructions all the way from how to make your first trade. There's also very helpful tutorial videos that you can refer to, as well as some portfolio FAQs. So I want to encourage you, once you do register for the competition and teams receive their usernames and passwords, go on and log in and take a look at that information located there as well.
Here's a question for you, Kara. We have several people asking about pre-competition activities. Could you elaborate on that?
Sure, and this is a part of the learning resources that we've put together through the curriculum. There'll be some pre-competition activities that advisors can do with their students available through the curriculum and learning resources. Can we invest 24/7 from the 28th of September on the website? You can, but then you don't really understand the competition. We don't encourage you to be trading nonstop. Remember, this is all about your strategy, and it's a long-term strategy, so lots of buying and selling is not recommended. So we're coming up to the end of this webinar, so maybe there's one more question that we can take. And any questions?
That's a good question.
Sure, go ahead, Sarah.
Sorry to cut you off, Kara. You mentioned that teams are required to invest in sectors based on the number of team members. Can they invest in more sectors than the number of team members? Absolutely, they are allowed to invest in more sectors. We just require that they maintain a minimum so that they have some diversity in their portfolio. And also some teams do choose to divide up the work of researching stocks and trading stocks to each student based on a particular sector, but that's not necessary. It's optional. So the students can decide that they each want to take ownership of a sector, or they can all collaborate on different sectors together.
Well, we hope you guys found this, this Q&A portion helpful. Again, if there's more questions, please feel free to email us and we will do our best to get back to you as quickly as possible. Again, we're so excited for the investment competition and, can't wait to see you guys competing. Now I'm going to turn it back over to our colleague, Effie.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Sarah. One last thing before we wrap the webinar today is I would like to share our contact information. So how you can contact us. The best way to keep in touch with us and get the free resources is to register for the competition, obviously. So if you haven't registered yet and want to participate, remember to register before September 18th, and that's when the registration closes. So if we didn't get to answer your questions today, feel free to email us at the email on the screen and also available on our website. Also engage with us. We're present on social media at Wharton Youth. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We will post updates on there too. So thank you again for spending your last hour with us today. We hope this is informative, and we'd love to see you all again when our competition starts. Thank you.